you should be good, Tom.
All right, let me check one thing here. All right. Ready?
Yes, we're going.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. The talk this morning is going to be on a minimalistic physical assessment kit. And it's something that I've built over a course of years through trial and error, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, and trying to get down to a small footprint for what we use for a physical assessment. About me, my name is Tom Moore. I am the Director of Security Assurance at Infusion Points LLC. We're a North Carolina-based information security company, and we have a full range of offerings. A little bit of a brief about my past experience. I led the Red Team at a Fortune 50 organization, leading the penetration testing and Red Team efforts there. I'm a Chief Systems Administrator for a FedRAMP accredited cloud environment, for which we do everything from hardening, threat and vulnerability management, systems administration, the whole deal. I regularly participate in penetration tests. I took the role of director with one caveat, that I didn't have to give up some of my technical fun. So I still get to go and break into places and get to keep my technical skills sharp. So I enjoy that. And then I'm also a contributor to the RAR project, which we presented before. So I attended Marshall University right here, you know, you guys are in a great time. They did not have the curriculums that you guys have access to right now when I was in school. So eat it up and enjoy it. I'm a Christian, husband, father, and I'm an unrelenting geek. I'm constantly, if I'm not outdoors, I'm probably beating up on a server and trying to find new ways to break things.
You missed an important point.
What's that?
You're one of the first IST majors. And you're
Yeah.
going to present this conference, and this will be one of the last semesters to IST will exist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point.
How long has IST been in existence? I'm trying to date Tom.
So, yeah.
It's a roundabout way of saying that you're no longer relevant.
I'm no longer relevant. That's the way it works. I'm a Second Amendment supporter. I love carrying my firearms, and I love going out and shooting 3-gun competitions. I'm an outdoorsman, survivalist. I like to go camping and hiking, and I'm not always behind a computer screen. And I'm a hack and capture the flag addict. Pretty much every conference I go to, if I'm not presenting, I'm trying to beat someone else out of that flag. So I'm sorry if I've ever compromised your machine or poisoned your traffic during one of those. It's just part of the game, right? I did build my own CTF rig. This rig will hopefully be used in 2 weeks at B-Side Charlotte. It's a little 10U rack with a couple Dell R610s in it, Force 10 switches, and UPS, and it runs pretty good. We're able to keep about 30 to 40 VMs running, vulnerable VMs that are getting beat up on across the network with pretty good rate of availability. So it's fun. All right, so disclaimer. While I've done many penetration tests and physical assessments, I don't have all the answers. If you want to learn more about this, you'll want to check out Keith's talk after you get out of here. I love breaking into things, so if I get giddy, just let it pass. It's a rush. So, and the slides are going to be somewhat vague, just for the fact of if all my words are up there, then I'm going to be reading them off of the slide rather than talking to you. My perspective is skewed towards that of an attacker. So if I say this is an awesome attack, it's probably not good if you're susceptible to that. Okay? It's just something that we as penetration testers learn to look for. It's something that when you start in this line of work, You start learning ways to bypass things, and then you find yourself, when you're out with the family, looking at the placement of security cameras or looking at the door breaches and things of that sort, things that would normally not have been what you would be looking for when you're out and about, but that's what we look for. So the agreement we have for showing you this information, in providing you with this information contained within the presentation, you agree to only leverage these tools, techniques, and tricks to enhance the security stature of a consenting organization. Use this information ethically. Obtain written permission. Do not try to gain entry to a building that you do not own without that written permission. Okay? The agenda is short and sweet. We're going to do a little getting started, then we're going to do a bag selection, and then content review of that bag, and then we'll do a wrap-up, questions and answers. I have the bag here. We'll put it up. You guys can pour through all the contents of it afterwards if you want to take a look at some of the tools. So, getting started, what is a physical assessment? Why are we even talking about this? A physical assessment is or a physical penetration test, whatever you word it, is designed to look at the physical controls of an organization. The assessment is usually part social engineering, part physical assessment, but you're trying to gain uncredentialed access or unsolicited access to the organization that you're performing the assessment against. We look at all the physical attack vectors: cameras, alarms, doors, locks, your dumpster where you store your trash. Anything that has to do with your physical environment, we're going to be assessing that and looking at it and trying to find holes that we can use to leverage to get into that organization. And the goal, once we get into that organization, is to get sensitive information. So why physical? There are many reasons. One is it's frequently neglected. At a university like this, you guys have pretty good facilities. You have some money to throw at it. A lot of organizations out there do not have that kind of funding to be able to throw at their physical environment, and so usually it's poorly implemented. It's not funded correctly, and it's neglected. Usually they're managed by the maintenance department. They're not managed by someone with a security mindset. They're managed with someone who's worried about making things looking nice and being easily accessible and and making sure they're functional. They're not worried about the security aspects of things. Alarm systems. While maybe you'll have an alarm system implemented, I've found many organizations that have their alarm systems implemented incorrectly, or they're not monitoring the alerting from that alarm system, which makes it useless to them to detect someone with malicious intent breaking into the organization. Our goal, and the next piece, is that if we can get onto the physical facility, then we can get network persistence. Network persistence means I have more time to pour through the network, to sniff data, to try to escalate privilege, and work my way up through to the prize, whether it's domain admin or your sensitive databases. It leads to fun storytelling. You just have to leave out some of the specifics. I've had very, very many situations that, when I think about them, it just makes me chuckle. Like the time I ripped my pants open trying to climb over a fence. That made for an interesting pin test because I didn't have a day to stop and go back. So, yeah, it leads to some fun stories, and it's an adrenaline rush. You are usually under a statement of work or rules of engagement. You've communicated that you're going to be performing these actions to a very, very few amount of people. The majority of the people you're going to encounter have no idea that they're being assessed at all. If you encounter any people at all. And so it makes for interesting conversations on on site. And sometimes that leads to altercations. But you have a very small timeline to be able to get into an organization. And your goal is to think quickly, move on your toes, and find a way to get into the building so that you can perform your assessment. It's an adrenaline rush because sometimes we've had police called on us, right? We've had to explain to the officers that we are who we say we are. We have a rules of engagement with us at all times that has the contact individuals and contact numbers for those to get in touch with them to confirm why, whether or not our actions are as we say that they are while we're on site. So that's kind of an adrenaline rush when you get into a situation like that. All right, so what are the considerations we need to make when we're trying to determine what the kit is that we're going to use for our physical pen test? Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. If you look at Adrian over here, he's probably one of the best lock picks, lock sport enthusiasts that I know. He would be much better at picking a 5-tumble lock than I would. I'm going to try to find another way around that lock so I don't waste as much time. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, and you learn those as you perform assessments. So this kit was constructed to make me more efficient. Your kit may be completely different if you build one, but just keep that in mind that not everyone's strengths and weaknesses are going to be the same, so your kit may vary, but hopefully this will give you a framework that you can create your footprint with. All right, so my goals for this kit was I wanted a small footprint, I wanted a small bag, I wanted it lightweight, I wanted it maneuverable, I wanted to have compartmentalization. That way when I get into it, I know exactly where I'm going for the exact tool that I'm getting, and I can get in and get out efficiently. I need easy access to those. And then I need ample storage. I need to make sure there are a lot of tools that you can use in a physical assessment, and I wanted to make sure that it had ample storage for me to get at least the basics of what I need. And then I want it at a low cost. I don't want something that's going to break the bank to be able to get. So the derivative outcome, we're going to have to decrease or drop some of the items that we normally would have carried on a physical assessment. We're going to have to weed out some of the fluff that is not there with consistency and worth for the assessment. All right, so the bag that I selected, before I get into that, I went through, I don't know, probably 30 or 40 different options. YouTube videos, going and looking at them in the store, trying to figure out which options would make sense. I found bags ranging from $200 down to $30 with all different consistencies of workmanship and functionality. So when I say that I believe this bag is the one that I want to use, I'm not endorsed by this organization whatsoever, but I've just found that it was a very, very functional bag for me. So the bag that I chose is from Yukon Outfitters. It's called the Overwatch Sling Pack, and it is a pretty small footprint. I don't know if this is going to mess up the mic, but so you wear it like this. I don't know if you've had any experience with a sling pack or not, but a sling pack is very, very functional because it allows easy access. So it's relatively small. You can't really see its footprint around me. It's lightweight. It's made out of very good nylon construction or polyester construction, and it has great compartmentalization. I'll show you the pieces, but this is what I really like about the bag, is that I can spin it around in front of me. I don't have to take it off and set it down and potentially run off and leave it. I can just sling it around, and it's right here on the front. It has a good stable platform. And we'll get into some more of that in a moment. It opens up very cleanly, gives me access directly into the tools that I need. Same here. I can get right into my tools without having to pull the whole thing apart, right? There's a clip here that I have to pull off for that one, but it's very, very, very quick to get into. We'll look at some of the compartmentalization of it as well. So you see the sling allows for quick access. There's plenty of storage available in this. It'll store up to a 15-inch laptop. I use like a 12.1-inch system because I'm just comfortable with it. But you can get it regularly for $50. If you watch Woot, you can get it for 30. And they've got it in all kinds of shades and colors. And we'll let you guys play around with it and take a look at it. Here's some pictures of it. So you can see that it's fairly small, but see how easily it opens up there? And inside of each of those pouches, you have different pockets for compartmentalization of your tools. See how wide it opens at that point? I mean, it'll just fold right open. It's holding on one edge. So, did we meet the goals with the bag? I think we did. We have a small footprint, lightweight, maneuverable, compartmentalization. We have easy access to everything. We've got ample storage space to store a laptop and quite a few tools. And you get a free rape whistle. I don't know why, but it has a rape whistle on there. Here's a picture of it, I think. Yeah, there you go. It's on one of the straps. I actually have that strap tucked in because it just gets in the way. It's another strap that comes around the left side and hooks into the main main strap, but pretty funny. Anyways, content selection wasn't easy. I had a lot of tools that I wanted to fit in here, and it took a little while to figure it out, but I believe we've got a right set of tools here. So I looked at the items that I use at high frequency on physical assessments. I looked for the size requirements, because if they were too big of a tool, they got cut immediately, and I looked for another solution. The specific task requirements were priorities. So when I say I want to get persistence on a network, I have to have a Dropbox or a thumb drive or something to be able to compromise the system or put persistence on a network for me to be able to do that. So those items took priority. I have to have door entry tools to be able to get into the door in the first place. So those also took priority. If the items had multiple functions, they were preferred, and went with those. And then additional space was filled with the next prioritized items. Through testing, I rotated some of the items.
Yeah, does it have bumpers and cushioning for your PC?
So it does have some cushioning, but not necessarily where I have it. There is a little bit of cushioning on the back panel, so what would actually be on your back. And the way that the laptop is in here, it actually rests on that, on the bottom edge. So yes, I mean, it does have cushioning on the back side, but not necessarily towards the internal. But the way that I filled it out were with flat items in the next pockets, so they wouldn't press into the display or anything like that. Good question.
I have a quick question to make sure I have them right, because I'm looking at my Amazon. Does the Overwatch Sling Pack?
Mm-hmm. But watch Woot, seriously, you can get it for like $29.
It's not that inexpensive, but yeah. It's very.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the kind of guy that went out and bought a bunch of packs in the past, like, you know, really expensive, more than $100 pack.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the C1, this inexpensive, is pretty.
You can waste a lot of money on a pack, and Yukon. I mean, I've had 511 packs. I've had Blackhawk packs. I've had packs that I've Sandpiper, California. I've had packs that I've spent a lot of money on But for this specific use, this really is the best pack, and it's one of the least expensive packs that you can find out there as well. So, all right, so getting into the items that I have in there. I carry a Lenovo X201 laptop. It's a Core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, and I run Kali Linux on it. That's my distribution of choice. And I always carry a power supply with it as well. So that's the first item. If I don't have a machine, I can't plug into the network. I can't monitor traffic. I can't do any of that stuff. So priority one, I had to have my system. Second one, does anyone know what those are? Yep. Raspberry Pi B Plus, or 2B, whatever the latest one.
If you're doing free now, it's Pi 5.
Okay, yeah, so it was the version right before that. I think it's the 2B Plus or something like that.
Is it your version of the Network Scout by Marshall University?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
So these run, I appreciate that plug though. These run Kali Linux ARM, and I have several VPS servers and servers that are on our network edge that have listeners running on them for specific traffic, and they will allow a system to log in via SSH through an RSA key and create a reverse tunnel. So what happens is I take one of these boxes, I find a port that's active on the network, I plug it in, I set it up, make it look like it fits. I've printed out stickers that say network sensor, do not remove, things of that sort. They never get touched, right? But I can take this, or I can put it under someone's desk. I can put it in the data center, wherever I can get into and get network access. I can plug one of these in. It'll automatically, when it boots up, it'll call out to my servers. It'll look across to see which one it can access. Once it finds one that it can access, and if it can't hit over SSH, it'll go through other protocols as well. It'll tunnel traffic over ICMP or DNS or whatever is accessible, and it'll call back to my server. It'll then create a tunnel connection with a reverse proxy. So from my server, then I log into my server and I see a port associated to that device, and I can SSH to localhost on that port and then get back into their network just like I'm on their network. So that is persistence 101. Those scripts are maybe 200 lines at the most, and they'll send me an SMS message to my phone letting me know that it's made that reverse connection. My coworker Adam has done a lot of Python coding, and we've got a system that we believe is fairly foolproof. It gets through pretty much every network that we've been on, and it works like a champ. But we just use a Raspberry Pi. You've probably seen, and I don't want to bash anyone that deals in this industry, but you've probably seen other solutions out there that offer that type of a functionality or device. They're usually expensive, their support is usually bad, and they're usually bulkier. So you can do it yourself on the cheap. Just sit down and play around with it, and you can figure it out. Next piece that I usually take is my Nexus 7. It's got Kali Net Hunter on it. I can put a little on-the-go cable on there with a wireless adapter. I've actually sat in the lobby of an organization that I was pen testing, never went on site, or never went into the building and had domain admin access from their wireless. That's just a little on-the-go cable that allows me to plug a wireless adapter into that's capable of packet injection. So yeah, never making it past the lobby, but having domain admin, I'll take that. A great book for anyone that's interested in red teaming and penetration testing, RTFM, Red Team Field Manual. It's a great book. All kinds of little tricks in there. So we're getting into the physical entry tools. Number one, a letter opener. Yeah, like a $2 letter opener from Staples. It will bypass a lot of the open door breaches that you can come across, and it's very functional as a shim. They're usually made out of copper, so they bend well, and then you can bend them back. These are some plastic shims that I've created that can fit in my wallet, but I have them in the bag. They're literally made out of like a $1 like a $1 plastic folder. But they'll bend around door breaches and allow you to shim through the doors pretty easily. Proxmark 3, if anyone's not aware with this tool, what it does is it will allow you to just brush up against someone's ID badge. It's RFID enabled, and it will allow you to clone that signal. So then you can go up to the door and replay that signal and usually get access. You don't necessarily have to touch, but usually within a centimeter or so. I have it in a little tablet case. I don't have it here with me. That's one thing I forgot to bring, but does he? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you talk to someone that does a lot of physical penetration testing, they're going to have a Proxmark. Our Fiddler.
Isn't new just come out that has a little bit of rain?
I know our Fiddler came out, but well, it's been out for a little while. I don't think it supports quite the range of what the Proxmark does. There may be another tool out there. This tool's pretty expensive. It'll set you back about $400, $500. I can't remember what the other one is. I think I did see something about it, but I haven't looked at it.
It also depends on what frequencies they're using. And
Correct.
Different standards.
Yeah, it won't clone everything, but it does a pretty good job. And one of the things that I like to do is, so I get your card, but you don't have access to the data center room. A lot of organizations are very weak in how they deal out their cards, and they will simply increment the number and pass out the next card. So one of the common attacks that we do is we increment or decrement the signal that we have cloned from, the person standing in the line at Starbucks until we find someone that has access to the rooms we need to get into. So that's the way Proxmark works. Alpha, has anyone done any wireless? Okay, yeah. So Alpha is an RTL 8187, or that one's an RTL 8187 chipset. It's capable of packet injection and allows you to be able to run wireless attacks. Usually I'll have 2 of those in my bag. One to, my main laptop has an Atheros chipset, so it's capable of packet injection as well. But normally I'll have one to be able to run and innocuous traffic, and the second one will actually be capturing IVs for me to be able to crack the network. TP-Link is that's a great little card. I can't remember, WN722N. It runs an Atheros chipset. That's actually the one that I use with my Nexus 7 running that Hunter, and it's also capable of packet injection. Do you have some?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I got the same one.
Yeah, great card. And you can get those for like $20, $25. More physical entry tools, bump keys, lock picks. Well, the lock picks are on another screen, but shims. Basically, anything that we can use to try to bypass a door. I also keep 2 Leathermans with me, and I can't tell you why. No, I'll tell you why later. There's a tool usually that anywhere I go on a physical assessment, I will build it. It's too clunky to take with me, but on my last pen test, it yielded me 70% of the doors I went to, I was able to get into with it.
I'll go grab one so you can show what it is later.
Huh?
You keep talking, I'm going to grab one so you can show what it is.
It's right here.
We have to?
Yeah. So I keep a good screwdriver. Also used a lot of times in conjunction with the tool that I build with those Leathermans. And that tool can be built for about $7, and it's nasty. If you're a pen tester, no laughs at all. All right, I usually have a pen or a Sharpie marker, something to be able to scratch down notes. If I don't have a laptop open, I'll just write it down with a pen. I have a very low lumen, small flashlight as well. So if I'm operating at night and I don't want to cast a big light distribution where I'm working, then I'll have a low lumen light that I can just either keep in my mouth or clip to my hat or however. USB cables necessary. I don't think I put. Yeah, I missed a slide, but Cat 5 cables. You got to have Cat 5 cables for the drop boxes, and to be able to plug into the network. There's my lock picks. I've got several sets. Normally, I'll have a set on me, and I'll have a set in my bag. So, whichever one's fastest at that point in time. But we were talking yesterday, and it's almost unfortunate. We practice and practice and practice and learn how to lock pick, and we rarely use lock picking when we're doing a pen test. Usually there are easier ways to bypass the door. Yeah, I mean, you can just piggyback right in. There are all kinds of techniques, but techniques are probably what Keith is going through. You know, it's an art. It really is. It's fun. Oh yeah, that little. So that is a little tiny keyboard, and it's awesome for kiosks. I've taken domain admin from an organization's kiosks before. Standing there playing with a little keyboard, they thought I was playing on my phone, and I'm literally adding myself to the users groups because the kiosk was running as local admin, and then I see that there's a domain admin account that had logged onto the system, and I'm able to privilege escalate to that and then jump back over and add myself to the domain admins group from a kiosk, and then, yeah, it's awesome. So that's a fun little toy. I think, I can't remember who the manufacturer is. It's in the bag if you want to take a look at it. But yeah, fun little tool. It's literally, I mean, it's right here. So, but literally, I was sitting here typing like this, and they thought I was just playing on a phone. Made it a little awkward to find keys, but it worked. This little pack that I have is also in this front pocket, and I'm kind of going in order of the pocket. It's not necessarily in order of how I use the tools at this point, but this little kit, you've got, I don't know if this actually works, yeah. So this is the glitch. If you guys haven't played around with the glitch, it is a human interface device attack tool. So are the rubber duckies. Both of those are rubber duckies. Can you see what that one says? Norton Secure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We're just going to clean up your machine. Frontier, yeah. So the payload that I have on that uses Mimikatz in memory. If you haven't heard of Mimikatz, it's very, very nasty. I love it. But what it will do is that will pull down a binary, because everyone allows their people out to websites. So it'll pull it from a port 80 source of my creation, and then it'll take that. It'll execute the binary in memory. Once it executes it in memory, then it will dump all of the plain text passwords that are currently in RAM. So I don't even have to crack them. Then it SSL encrypts them and sends them back to my server, and then I can decrypt them from there, but it's secure on transfer back out across the network and at rest. So this is just to be able to use the SD cards that are in these the micro SDs, adapt those to my machine so I can update payloads. These are keyloggers in USB and PS2. I still see PS2 a lot on KVMs. I don't know if you're the same, but yeah. This is a cheap little LAN tap. Hack 5 sells that. They also sell this. The rubber ducky is theirs as well. But this is the Ubertooth one for assessing Bluetooth at an organization.
You're probably getting Bluetooth work inside the VM. Like it was sometimes
Yeah.
the exact same command.
Yes.
Try it several times.
Yeah. I've had to restart the VM before.
Does it work better on straight up just the normal hardware? Just raw?
I don't know. I've just always just fought with it later if I didn't really have to have it. But yeah, I mean, I have had stability issues with it too. It's a yeah. But they're all pretty accessible tools. Anyone can get those. Basically, that HID attack. So I did not fully express how brevity and how bad that is.
Do you have any payloads you want to share? Talk to you later.
Okay. All right. We can do that. The HID attack. So a lot of organizations have USB blocking, right? If you really want to lock down your workstations, you block people from plugging in USB. But that blocking is not going to stop someone from plugging in a keyboard, right? You need keyboards and mice to be able to function. Those are human interface devices. This is literally a keyboard. That's what it looks like to the computer. When you plug it in, nothing's going to stop it. Once it plugs in, it types a lot faster than I do with a preloaded payload that I've constructed for specific operating systems that's going to get me credentials from those. So the glitch is the ducky on steroids. It allows 30 different payloads. It has 32 different dip switch options. It allows 30 different payloads. So I can have payloads from Linux, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, whatever. Specifically, to bypass UAC and all the good, protections on a workstation, even disabling antivirus, and I can just switch to a specific payload for the system and get ready to attack. So they're awesome. Another little pack, just some on-the-go cables, USB cables, more pre-built payloads for the duckies. Another network card, USB extension, antenna. I think, my antenna's broken. So just another little pack that sits in there. And that's the front pocket. This is my bag of nastiness. You do not want to plug these thumb drives into your computer. I don't even like to think about some of the places they've been. But a lot of times, if I'm going after a specific thing and I know the protections of an organization, I will put a couple of these in my pocket so they're even more accessible. But I always keep them with me because you never know when you're going to run into something like that. You've got katanas and USB switchblades and all kinds of goodies in there.
Used to build katanas part of network defense.
Oh, yeah?
But it's so broken now.
Yeah.
Can't do it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to build katana.
I gotcha. Yeah, I wish Ronan would come back from the dead.
Yeah, he's got his own new version. He just has not released it.
Oh, really?
He was here a couple years ago, and he's like, here's Katana 2.0.
Right. Well, he released that at DEF CON.
Did he release that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's the version.
Yeah. He lost his domain for a little while. He's got it back, but it's
I
not.
think there's a version even further.
Oh, okay.
Beyond the one that he released. That he's never released.
I'll talk to him. Wi-Fi Pineapple, have you heard of this? Wi-Fi Pineapple is the first one I built was a Lofnera router, and it's a mesh style router, and it runs a firmware basically called, Yasiger. Well, thank you, Bill.
Well, that's 5 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah. But it runs Yasiger. Basically what Yasiger does is when you fire this thing up, you're at school, right? You would have wireless on your device, and it would see that there's a new wireless connection, and you could connect to your home network from here, and you don't even have to go there. Because as your system is sending out those beacons looking for the networks that it trusts, this thing is responding, saying, yep, that's me, connect through me, and it'll take whatever authentication method you want to send it, and it'll just pipe your traffic through to my machine, which is then packet sniffed, and credentials are taken without you realizing it. So
As if you're cheating.
it is cheating.
I would note that you can't buy these. You can buy them aftermarket if you want $1 zillion for them. There is a new version of the Wi-Fi Pi.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a development version. There's not a lot of payload support yet, but it works 1,000 times better. It also is using different firmware and different methods of attack. So as systems have gotten better against guarding against a lot of the older attacks on Wi-Fi Pineapple,
Right.
build out new hardware that doesn't rely on some of the old attacks.
right. This was a toss-up. I really don't use it as frequently as I used to, but it is still a great tool, even if it's just to show the organization that you're with the risks that are associated with.
I think the other device, I don't know if you're going to cover this, but I'll go ahead and step on it. Not is the Reaver, the $100 device or the software version.
Yeah.
The one that's really great. Sort of
Yeah. The other one is by Ace Hackware. They have a device called the Rutabaga.
I got one of those too.
And it'll do this and many pointer functionality in one piece. So
you just change it with the command line, which wanted to be
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, Pineapple, or
so there are multiple options out there. You can do this with just your laptop and another NIC. I mean, you can do the same functionality through the CLI with just a machine. But it's
Pineapple, though, it's been a long time since I used it, but it kind of gives itself away also if you're looking at your phone or looking at your connections, because all them connections show that you're right there.
right. Yep.
So it kind of gives it away if
Yep.
somebody knows what they're.
Yep. But most people don't look.
Right.
Most people just leave their wireless on and get taken advantage of. So don't leave your wireless on when you're in public places, kids. All right. A hub. Why would I use a hub? We've done away with hubs. Why would I use a dumb hub? Sniffing?
you want a lot of packet collisions.
Yeah. Have you ever dealt with network access control? One of the easiest, dumbest ways to bypass network access control is a hub.
So how much longer do you actually ready to buy hubs for?
I don't know. That one
I'm
is,
waiting for Google. I'm going to go get a switch even though it's not.
yeah,
I bought a hub just like that as recently as a few months ago.
yeah. It's awesome.
It's still out there. And
so-
they're on sale now.
You can just hub out. Yeah, I mean, you can get them cheap, but it's a keeper. I keep it in my bag all the time. It's awesome. If I can get into an environment, but I can't find any network ports that are open, or if I have to get in and get out extremely quickly, I will leave a wireless router. It's set up with nothing extremely secure, but it's using WPA2, AES encryption, hidden SSID that I'm aware of. I'll plug it in and roll out, and then try to hit the wireless network from wherever I go.
Dave K is a jerk.
Free hugs.
Inside joke.
I usually take a little battery device, make sure my phone stays charged. Good flood flashlight that you can light up a dark room with if you're doing nighttime assessments and you don't want to turn all the lights on. A little bit of paracord. You can never do without paracord, okay? It's like duct tape. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. I've done everything from, like, sometimes when you go into data centers, they are literally spider webs. It's horrible. And I've used it to tie up cables and get them out of my way so I can get to what I need to get to. Yeah. A GoPro.
Reminds me of Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
What do you need a rope for? Everybody needs a rope.
Why would I use a GoPro?
Videos
So-
there when you're writing a report.
So a GoPro is awesome. One, yeah, you can record through an environment. They're a little people normally spot them if you're doing that. But one thing I've used them for is put them in pinch points. So if I'm going into a data center and I know there's only one door in, but I've got a lot of room to be able to maneuver on the inside, and I'm going to have to get out if someone else gets in there, I'll set up my GoPro in a hidden location facing the door. And then I'll have the feed from that on my phone. So I can watch to see as soon as someone comes in the door, I can take an alternate route, get back out, snatch my camera, and be off. So, great little tool. And then a get out of jail free card, last item for the bag, right? So, not actually a get out of jail free card, but my rules of engagement for the actual assessment. All of those names and numbers that are necessary in the event that I were to get caught or found out, I want those with me. I want them in my bag. I want them in my back pocket, because if my hands are above my, behind my head, I want them to be able to easily access it and find out exactly who I am, why I'm there, and that it's a legitimate purpose. So something that I recommend having in multiple places. We've heard stories of people falling, getting them wet, soggy, not readable, and then getting caught. So keep a couple and keep them in good locations. Additional apparel items. I always have a device, a phone on me. It's good for quick picture taking. You don't have to pull out something that's big and bulky necessarily. A good headset. If I'm working with other individuals, I want a constant line of communication with them. That way, if someone's keeping Overwatch, then they can inform me when someone's on the way to me, and I can get out. And a good headset that is common. You just put that in your ear, and you have that communication without having to have a phone up to your head. Cargo pants. They're like jeans but functional. I am usually always wearing cargo pants. You can get cargo pants, good quality, cheap, lapolicegear.com. There are many different options. Some of them are extremely expensive. Again, I try to get the most out of my money. My buddy calls them action pants. But I'm telling you, I always have something in my cargo pockets that's necessary. So when we're doing these, going in for a drop, if I don't want to have to sling that bag around, I'll go ahead and preemptively put one of the drop boxes, a network cable, and a power supply in my leg pocket, and I'll go ahead and roll in. And it's very easy to get to and get out, and I don't have to have something else clunky in my hands. I usually keep a good hat. Something that if there are a lot of cameras, I can use that to kind of conceal my face a little bit. Another dirty trick that I've used, I don't know if you've seen the little clips that have the LED lights that you can put on the bill of your cap. You can replace those with infrared. They don't look like they're on to the human eye, but if you point them at a camera, it blinds the camera in most cases if they're a night vision camera. And it's very, very dirty little trick for physical. And then normally I will try to keep an SLR with me, not on the bag, but I'll keep it in the car, or when I'm doing my external reconnaissance, going through trying to figure out exactly what method I'm going to take, or if I find someone with a badge that I want to duplicate and copy, I can reach out and get a good crisp image with this, and then I can take it onto my machine, run into Photoshop, put my picture name on it, get it printed off, and be ready to go. So what was that other tool that we were talking about that got 70%? Yeah, why do I need 2 Leathermans? This is the under the door tool. And I literally constructed this for $7. You can get all the equipment from a nearby home improvement store. And I will show you how to use it later if you want to see. But on the normal handle-based hitch doors, as long as there's a little bit of clearance under that door, you can bypass most of those very, very easily with a tool this simple.
Collapsible one. It's hard to make one straight
Right.
up.
Yeah, we've tried making them collapsible as well. They'll either bind or they'll bend too easily. it's something I usually build when I'm going somewhere. If I'm having to fly, if I'm driving, it's always in the trunk.
Good luck flying with that.
Yeah. Good luck running away from someone with it too. It's very clunky, but it's extremely functional. There are ways to mitigate it. You can get shrouds around the handles. You can weld on your plates. That's why I had that other screwdriver set there as well, because a lot of companies will just have their door skirts screwed on. And if I can unscrew that door skirt, I can give myself more clearance to be able to get the under the door tool in. I was going to put a video on here of how it worked, but it's funner to show people. So if you see me afterwards, just let me know and I'll show you.
This comes out the way what I'm used to. So the back side is against the door. The solid metal bar is against the door. The string is
Yeah. Yeah,
not usually the way
there are different options where it loops back around. The problem I had with the other way, and that's why it's designed this way, is that when I had it looped around the other way, I would have problems with the cord binding up and not getting behind the handle as efficiently or as regularly as this one does. But I'll show you how. There's a door out here in the hallway that if we can get permission, we will we'll do that. All right. So wrapping up, I don't know what I did with my controller, but I went through several renditions. I had a lot of different options that I wanted to use. This is the one that I ended up with. It's been very, very functional for me, and it's worked extremely well. It makes me a lot more efficient. I know exactly where the tool is that I'm going for, and I can quickly get to it with these. And there are a lot of items that had to be removed as a result of the trimming and getting down to the core set of tools that are levers in this kit. But that's part of any refining process, right? You get rid of the fluff. And then there are still items that I wish I had room for, but I learned to live without them. I am still looking for more of a civilian-looking bag. I love Molly, but it does raise suspicion sometimes when you're walking into an organization that everyone else is carrying laptop bags and you have a tactical backpack. Sometimes that can raise a little suspicion.
Have you looked at messenger bags?
I have. There are some options out there that look very functional, but that spin around, like some of the messenger bags, yeah, you can spin them around, but they don't have that platform. So let me show you quickly the reason I love it. And so one other thing, and I didn't mention it, but I have one carabiner on here, strategically placed right there on the side of the bag. And so when I'm wearing this pack, trying to keep it away from the mic. When I'm wearing the pack and I sling it around, I want access to my stuff, but I also found that a lot of times I can get myself into a data center, but there's not a lot of space for me to operate. Pull my laptop out, hook it right there, and I can be walking around, assessing, taking notes, working with items, and I've got a platform that sits right in front of me that I don't have to set my laptop down. I don't have to potentially compromise the engagement from leaving equipment behind. I can simply work around that whole process by having it right here on my person, and it works out very, very well. Questions? Again, this kit may not work for everyone, but it has it's worked very well for me, and I've had a great time kind of refining that process. It's not something that I've done alone, so I'd like to thank Appalachian Institute of Digital Evidence for having me to be able to present. I'd like to thank Bill Gardner for herding the hackers to be able to get you guys good presenters in here. I'd like to thank one of my coworkers, Alias. A lot of the refinement and process of building out this kit was a joint effort between the two of us. He's always got to better the way something works, and I love and hate that about him. But he's definitely helped. You know, he was the one that kind of turned me on to a sling bag, because I was just going to use a regular backpack. But the efficiency of that sling pack is awesome. Fail Association of Lock Sport Enthusiasts, the guys that are down there local with me in the North Carolina area that practice lock picking. Adrian, he always has new toys for me to play around with, and you know, just show me new ways of breaking into locks. And there have been many other security individuals through the past that have shown me techniques and given me tips and tricks. So nothing is without you know, giving them props for that. And my organization, Infusion Points, for allowing me to participate in the conference this year. And I've got a great team of folks there that support me and help me through whatever is needed. And by the way, we are hiring. If you guys want to get me a resume, please do. We have several. Oh, you're looking for a job, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on camera.
Yeah, he goes for higher education.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
I just want to say I don't have a question, but I have a statement.
Okay.
I've been watching you refine this bag for 2 years now, and I want to complain that you cost me a lot of money because I do this more as a hobby. I don't get subsidized by my employer. So every time I see your next bag, you cost me money.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I did. I mean, I had a huge bug-out bag that I carried everything in, and it was
2 years ago, that was
overwhelming. Yeah.
whenever I started following you.
So where'd you get your glitch?
I bought my glitch.
Okay, I gave it
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah. No, you gave it to me. I gave it to Adam.
Okay.
So yeah.
Can I write that off my taxes?
I don't know. We not a 501(c)(3), Bill. Anyways, if you guys are in the area, I'm one of the committee members for B-Side Charlotte, May the 6th and 7th, so just a couple weekends away. We'd love to have you out, and we've got a great group of speakers lined up. And that's all. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.